Hey, good morning. It is kind of a gray November morning because it's almost December and it's dark and lovely. And Tara Stand is here. So we're going to talk about all things getting unstuck, live broadcasts. Um, we're going to have fun. So thanks for hopping in with me today, Tara. I'm going to let you introduce yourself because you'll do it far better than I can. And I want to know more about what you've got going on because you've got some big things coming up.
I do. Thank you so much. So, my name is Tara Stand, and it is my job and my pleasure and my calling to engineer space for business owners to grow big profit, right? Small business, big profit. That's what I do. I'm an industrial engineer. I create process for people to kind of run their business so it's not so stressful because businesses should be really boring. That is the space that your business should be in. Um, and more than that, and more importantly, is on actually a week from today, on next Tuesday, December 6th, starting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, I am hosting a live show called UnStuck-ify Your Business because so many of my clients, colleagues, people that I know, other business owners, I've been working in New York City small business for the past 20 years of my life. Um, it all seems like when they're ready to kind of jump up to that next level, there tends to be something holding them back. And if they can figure it out, they grow really quickly. And if they can't, they kind of get stuck. And so that's why Unstuckify Your Business 2023. And right now, because so many people wait till January to do your planning for that year. Like, don't do that because now's the time. Because then you can start January running and being
Right.
unstuck in January. So, like, why wait? Let's do it now.
Absolutely. And that's a lot of the times what we talk about too with marketing is it's like get your house in order in Q4 so that Q1 you're not trying to like solve all the hiccups. Like, why isn't my email talking to itself? Or what the heck do I even say? And that way you're not spending a week or two trying to like figure out the perfect social media post and you just got it in the hopper. So, and I know like when we talk, we get along so well. Like we can just chat about all the things from kids' birthday parties to literally anything. I think both times we've chatted so far, we've done that. But and I
Down
think
the
that's
rabbit hole.
why I'm so excited about this show, which you have graciously invited me to join, which I'm super excited about. And if you're on my mailing list, you got an email yesterday inviting you. Otherwise, if you are like, I've heard enough, I'm in, you can always hop into the link in the description here and just head right on over and save your seat. But tell me more about the format. Well, I know the format, but tell everyone else about the format. It's going to be really cool. And what you do is so unique in this space.
Yeah. So the format is there's going to be a morning session and an afternoon session. And both there, I think I have 11 or 12 experts. I don't know off the top of my head because I'm not, weirdly enough, engineer, not a detail person, big picture person. Um, and each expert is going to be interviewed 20 minutes on their topic of speciality. So, where most people tend to get stuck is mindset, kind of different areas of mindset, like their mindset about money or their mindset about worthiness, or they have this their own head trash installed in their brain from when they were little and all of these other things, right? So we have some experts talking about mind uh, mindset. There we go. That's the word. And process. Like sometimes when we grow, what happens is that our customers become unhappy because our process um, isn't really facilitating their joy in the way that it was when we were smaller, right? Because when we're small, we do things that don't scale. And when we're larger, we have to serve in a different way. So the process piece, we have some experts talking about process, including myself. And then another piece is that marketing piece, because sometimes it's growing into a new marketing space that can be scary, or it can be tweaking your messaging for your audience to expand. And that can also not just be scary, but a little intimidating because we don't always know how to do that. We don't always know how to set ourselves apart. There's a lot of fear that tends to be in there. a lot of the conversations that I often have with my clients is, oh, well, if I'm talking to person A over here, then person B won't be listening to me, but they could also use my product. So why should I just talk to this person over here,
Mm-hmm.
right? And yes.
Yes. Music
And
to my ears. Right.
exactly. Yes. And, we know from tons of marketing and psychology research that if you talk to this person over here and not both of these people, then you're going to get more sales, including this person over here. Right. And so
Right.
anyway, that's going down my rabbit hole again. But those are the three main areas that we're looking at as far as getting unstuck. Each expert has 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes. And the reason that we're doing that is because business owners are busy. So hop in on the pieces that make the most sense for you, hop out on the ones that don't. And yeah, so that's what we're doing. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, no, this is great. And this is just fantastic. And so you've got these experts convened. We're going live on December 6th. And what do people get when they register?
Sorry, I had a very Vanna White moment. Tell them what they've won.
Tell them what they've won. Be Vanna today. When we're in our sequined, yes, our matching
our sequin sweaters. Yes. They're gorgeous. Yeah, so you're going to get access to those 12 experts. And also, each one of those experts are offering a freebie for you. So once you register, you're going to make it to the show page. And on the show page are going to be links to their freebies. And those freebies are anything from free trainings, checklists. My mind just went blank because you asked me a direct question.
That you could download. So,
yeah.
For example, I'm giving a checklist, and I've just decided on our call today that I'm going to offer like a free video training and slides as well, because there's more detail than we can ever get into in 30 minutes. That if anyone wants to dive deeper into the marketing side of things, I'm going to offer that. So I'm sure there's trainings, checklists, ebooks. Some people may be offering, I don't know, I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth, but there's usually opportunities to connect with people too, one-on-one. So
yep. So we've got a business money. I just pulled it up because my brain doesn't like to remember things. So there's the business money checklist. We have an expert on business finances coming because oftentimes when we grow, we don't know where to put our money in order to grow better. Best practices on social media, a mini course and game plan for your schedule, endless sales from socials live masterclass, processes for business owners, the simplified masterclasses. There's a couple classes in there, a couple planners in there. For me, you're going to get my Smarter Not Harder video vault, which really talks about how to organize yourself when you're not an organized person to work I actually teach you how to work smarter and not harder in my video vault that I have on Vimeo, so you'll get access to that as well as some other goodies that are in there.
Fantastic. Well, so there's a lot of value packed in, and everyone gets this for free when they register. We're going to be broadcasting live next Tuesday, a week from today.
I know.
It's so exciting. But tell me more about why did you decide to go ahead and create this incredible live event?
Yeah, I have this beautiful vision of helping. It's really big. I have this beautiful vision of helping 50,000 businesses and 50,000 business owners be able to step away from their business for 2 months at a time while still making profit. And you can't do that when you're getting mucked up in the details, and you can't do that unless you're leveling up in some way. And so this is really the start of that vision for me. And so much like we just talked about, get your, can I curse?
You can curse.
Perfect. Get your shit together now for 2023, right? This is my goal for 2023, 2024 is to help 50,000 businesses be able to take 2 months off. And so this is basically the hey, you can do this, right? Like it's not a pipe dream. It's not. I take summers off, and actually, this I took off until November this year.
Yeah. My goal is to take 3 months off every year. And some years I'm better at it than others, but it starts with either taking a week off a month.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like audacious, but when you think about it, it could be as simple as just working 4-day weeks.
Yeah.
Or the equivalent of that. And so when I explain that to people, they're like, oh, I could do that. And so some months I work, 25 days or however many days, I don't know the math, but some weeks I work every day, some months I work every day, and some months I take off like way more time. Like in December I take off 2 weeks, November I take off 10 days, and it leaves me with like a really interesting Q4, but I plan to throughout the year because I want to be off. You have kids too. I want to be off when my kids are off, or I want to have more flexibility when they're off. And so yeah, maybe the winters I work a little bit more, but they're not here anyway. And I'm in Wisconsin. So
oh, burr. Yes. Yes. Yes.
There's not much else I want to do.
Well, the other side of that too, right, is that your brain needs rest in order to be creative. Like it really does. And so if you're not taking that fifth day out of every week or that 1 week out of every month off, like you're probably leaving money on the table simply because you're not recharging your own battery. Right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
And so that's really that flexibility, that ability to step away and be creative, because we all got into business for a reason. Like, yeah, it's also to make money, but like we all have a passion about something that we're doing. And it should be fun for us. Like that idea that like business has to be a hustle and it's got to be a grind and it's got like move.
Boom,
Like,
boom, boom, boom.
yeah. It should
It
be
doesn't
fun.
have to be hard. Yeah, I like your idea. Business should be boring.
Yeah.
It can be really fun
still,
still, but it shouldn't be like a series of choose your own adventures every week where you're stressed out about all the choices.
Please no. Please no. I was actually just at a mastermind a couple weeks ago, and she was like, once you find something, like rinse, repeat, like you know where your money's coming from. Don't then you have this and you have the space to do to reinvent the wheel over here, but you still have this engine going.
Well, I think what's really interesting is the shift that people have to make from being an employee or working in traditional worlds to this new space that we're in. And I know a lot of people, especially women in the online space, got into it because they're like, I just need to make money. And so what they do is they create this job for themselves, which is great. Like there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I flirt with that still, like, oh yeah. But the reality is you don't have to turn it into a job. It doesn't have to be, you just have to work really hard, but it's different when you have like this laser focused goal of here's where you want to help 50,000 people. What are the steps to do that? So you've reverse engineered. I don't mean to like reuse all the words, but you've reverse engineered. And I think that takes so much talent, and not everyone can do that. Not everyone can be like, okay, here's where I am. Here's where I want to be. What are the steps to do that? But it makes it so much easier to ignore the fluff. Like, yeah. I'm not going to waste time doing gazillions of social media posts that take me an hour each and net me absolutely like 5 cents. If that, I mean, realistically,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. One of my signature course is actually the Ultimate Clarity Code Framework. And what it does is it create, so many people are like, oh, some people have a mission statement and they never use it, or some people do it for, their business plan to get money and then they never use it. But more than a mission statement, a clarity code should really be that decision-making lens that should tell you when to say no, right? And quickly. So that way, like, is Facebook my friend or is it my foe? Like, is this something that even makes sense for me? And that's something that I hear so often. I think I probably heard it 20 times in the last month of, oh, well, should I do Instagram? Should I do Facebook? Should I do this? I'm like, do you want to? Like, everything works. That's not the question. The question is like, what's fun for you to do?
Yeah. And where, like, I always feel like it's this 2-part equation, right? So it's like, where do your clients hang out? Mm-hmm. And they hang out multiple places. So you don't have to like choose one. And if they only hang out one, they may not be your client. Or they may be if it matches up. But where do they hang out? Where do you like to be? And then where does it meet? Like, what? This is not working, this analogy. Don't mind me over here. Yeah,
no,
but like,
it's the Venn diagram.
It's the
Where's
Venn
the Venn diagram of like
Thank
my
you.
interests, my clients, and me?
Exactly. Thank you. Now that I've totally butchered this analogy.
We just invented a framework
what
right
do they
here
have
for
in
marketing.
common? And then you figure out where that means. It doesn't mean, and if you like hanging out multiple places, by all means, but how can you repurpose that? Like, what does that look like? Because you don't have to come up with 14 new pieces of content. If people see it multiple places, so what?
Yeah.
So
well,
what?
and not just so what, but our brains need repetition in order for something to sink in. So if they're seeing it multiple places, that means that you're actually helping them more deeply than you would if they only seen it once.
They always used to say, and I need to find the new stat on this, that it takes 7 times to see something. I think that number has perhaps increased a little bit with the sheer volume of information we get, but I think it's like 10. So it's still not that, I mean, it's 50% higher, but it just speaks to the importance of being consistent. And, you know, that's something we also teach, like, what are content buckets? What can you talk about I'm giving
Ad nauseam?
it today, ad nauseum, ad hoc, ad nauseum.
So many things.
Good morning. I need more coffee. So anyway, but yeah, I'm so excited for all the people. You have some amazing guests that are coming in to teach next week. One of them is my friend Grace, who has been on the show multiple times because she's a good friend of mine. Grace and I are starting a podcast with another friend coming up in 2023. So that will be a lot of fun, and we'll have to have you on as a guest once we're ready to accept guests. But 50,000 people. So we talked about like where people are when they get stuck. And so what do the most people have in common? They've gotten to this point and they can't get further, or they can't seem to get out of the starting gates. Like,
yes.
Yes.
I think the answer is yes. And I think in working with so many businesses at this point, what I've noticed in the businesses that I've worked with, and maybe you have too, is that the ones that tend to stay in this cycle of the hamster wheel are the ones that aren't super clear on what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And who they're serving, and also to love the problem that they're solving as opposed to the thing that they're selling. Right? And so
I think that's a really interesting point. Where's your passion?
Yeah.
What do you care about?
Right. Like this, maybe not that. This is the thing this is a little bed that came from Purple with my pillow. But like, so many people are like, yeah, I know, it's really funny. But so many people are like, look at this. This is so cool. I made it. You want to have it. I'm like, but I don't know why I want it.
Tell me, what's the benefit to me? What's the end result? What is going to change about my life from that insanely cool little like tchotchke?
Right.
Well, and when we talk about like brand messaging, that's something else that we do. It's like, okay, so you do this thing. Awesome. We're so happy that you do it and you've had success. But how do your clients talk about their problems? What did those conversations actually look like? What do they care about? And actually, I was just starting a LinkedIn post today talking about this. So this is like excellent timing, because I think, and I'm interviewing you, but I'm telling you all my stories. Sorry.
No, I love it.
But it's like, when you first go into business, you have to start at that point. You have to start at the look what I made. It's so cool. Here's all the things it can do for your business. Mm-hmm. And then as you gain that traction, as you gain success, you start to get feedback from your clients. And it's iterative. And then those conversations that you have where at first you're like, look at my thing. It's so cool. You can do these things. It moves to, you have this problem. We can solve it. Yep. And you know more about what your customer journey looks like once you've got it in practice. To your point about, you create this business plan and you do all this planning and then like you leave it in the dust, because if you
no plan,
then you don't get feedback on what that's going to look like. You can't change a plan that you don't have, that you're not actively working. Mm-hmm. So that's where anywhere from 2 to 10 years in, we come in and we do like a remessaging. because, or messaging redo, messaging pivot, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though you're starting out at this point, you don't actually know what works. At this point, it's still test. It's still so iterative. But by this point, you know what it looks like. And now it's time to like kind of go back to your initial like vision and then see how that relates with the actual conversations. And see, this works this time. This works. It's not like
one of the things that I do with my one-on-one clients these days is I actually have them fill out. So we always start with their goals, right? Because if I don't know their goals and they don't know their goals, then we can't be successful in the coaching that we do. And so then at the end of every month, I have them fill out a form that's okay. What's going well? What's not going well? What would you like to see coming up? Like, how have your goals changed? And also, like, what are some transformations that you feel like you've seen or that you feel like you want to see and you haven't yet? And then finally, like, would you recommend me to a friend? And if so, what would you say to them? Yeah. And in that, right, in the what's going well and what would you recommend to a friend and what would you say to them, I'm actually tracking, right, what their words are as their journey goes forward for me, because somebody that's over here in business is going to talk about their problems very differently than somebody's over here in the business.
Right.
So I actually get to see that kind of pathway.
Yeah.
With their words, which is amazing.
And that's so cool that you do that, because so many people don't. And there's so much valuable information that's unpacked in that section that you will be able to move into your messaging. So another question that is fun that you may want to add in is like, what surprised you this month?
Yeah. That's
and I don't know if you asked that one too, but because then it's like, what I do this at the end of projects because mine is more project based, but what you find out is that there's these little nuggets that are just part of what you do. You put them into your process for a very specific reason, but it's a benefit to you. And they find out that they love it. They're like, this made it so easy. I love it. And so I present with Loom Video because I want to avoid more calls. So they were like, we love this. And here's what all the reasons. And I was like, well, that's nifty. Good to know. I would have never come up with that on my own.
Right. And that benefit to you is completely different than the benefit to your customer.
Right.
Right. One of the things that I often tell people when I do large workshops and classes and things like that, when we're talking about messaging, because marketing is a process too, right? Like that, like it should be a process that's replicatable and all that other fun stuff. But you know, the masterclass in marketing, right, is that you have your customer and they have to have a problem and that you promise to solve, that you have proof that you can promise to solve that problem, right? Like that's it. Like that's the masterclass in 36 seconds. But so often, right, like their promise is to themselves as a business owner, right? When they write out like how that, like what their problem is, they talk about
I can make more money. Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm like, no. It's all about your customer because they pay your bills. Like they're the ones.
Why do
they
pay care? Your bills. That's hysterical. And it is. It's really hard for people to make that shift from me to you. It's really difficult. In the course that I teach, I have an entire workshop and section just on that. It's like, okay, here's all the things that matter to me. Here's why they matter to me. Okay, then you go back through. It's like this 3-section worksheet. Why does it matter to my clients? What did they get out of it? And then it makes that so much easier.
Yeah.
To talk about, because it's like, oh, and it's not like this, you have to flip the switch immediately. It's like this gradual step of walking through it, and it's so effective. Because it's so difficult because you're so close to all the things in your business. And I think that to harken back to you can see all the things that you have to do, and it's really hard to take that step back to get the mile high view. And that's where your zone of genius really is you can say, oh, you're clustering all your time here on social media. No wonder you don't have time to do these other things. How can we simplify this? And that's just an example. Or you're clustering all your time doing your client invoicing and proposals. What can we do to simplify that? And
Can I get on my soapbox real quick? I'm so excited that you gave me that opening. Can I please get like soapbox?
Yes.
All right. We have to talk about time. You opened the door to time, And this is what I get most excited about. All right. So here's the thing. So there's 2.5 types of time that most people have no idea about in their business. Okay. We have value added time and we have non value added time. And then we have necessary non value added time, which is the half bit that we're not going to talk about. So when we look at the total amount of time spent in anyone's business, the non value added time for world class companies tends to be about 95% is spent in non value added activities, and only 5% is on value added activities. So, what's a value added activity? There's actually a real and there's technical definition to this, and that is it has got to be something that the customer is willing to pay for. Okay. It has to change your product or information in some way, right? So if you're selling information, it's got to change the information in some way. If you're selling a product, it's got to change the product in some way. And it has to be done right the first time. If it doesn't match those 3 criteria, it goes in the non-value added. And the reason why it's important to know those things is because so often when we talk about working smarter, not harder, we want to fix the stuff that's value added, right? We want to fix the stuff that's directly client facing. But in reality, if we want to save ourselves time, we should be looking at all this non-value added time, because if we can reduce the amount of time that we're spending on the non-value added activities by 50%, that's a huge reduction in the amount of effort that's being made in order to do these things that are actually making you money.
Right. Oh, that's so true.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
for some people, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
No. Well, I'm thinking, like, when I first started, it was like the proposals and the contracting and the invoicing. So it's like, there's got to be a solution out there, and there is.
Yeah.
That condenses that from 3 hours each or however long into like an hour total.
Yeah. And those are all non-value add activities, right? Your customer's not paying you to write a proposal for them.
Or they're not paying them an invoice. Yeah.
Right. Like, they're like, actually, if I don't pay you to send an invoice, will you not? That would be great.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. Yeah. Super. Yeah.
Right.
Carry on.
Yeah. And so, like, those things, they're necessary. Right. And so, there's no value judgment here, right? Because so many people get caught up in like, oh, well, I have to do this. No one's arguing that you have to do, like, your bookkeeper needs to do bookkeeping. No one's arguing that at all. What I'm saying is that if that amount of time is reduced or eliminated or packaged with something else so that those two things together make less time, then, like, why wouldn't you want to do that? Right. So there's no value judgment on those activities, but it does give us a framework to be able to look at, okay, well, if I'm spending so much 3 hours on that proposal invoicing, right, scoping piece, well, then, like, that's the place that I can win back most of my time without affecting my customer journey, without affecting my customer experience.
Well, and to take that to the next level, can you improve the customer experience?
Yeah.
I taught a class a few months ago already on copy decks, which is just a way of presenting your copy. And it takes 5 minutes to set up, maybe a little bit longer once you're doing it for the first time. But it makes you look so much cooler. And it makes that, I think it's interesting because, yes, you want the value added time. You want the focus to be on the non-value added time. But if you can improve so much in the value added time that it just makes you look so much cooler and more professional, then it makes the next non-value added sales cycle shorter because they already know that you're the real deal.
Yeah. And that's exactly what you want to do, right? You want to reduce that, we call it lead time, right? In engineering speak, right? Which is the time between when you first contact your customer or when they first choose to buy from you to when you're actually, like, giving them and receiving the money for goods and services sold, right? And so in reducing that amount of time, you're increasing your cash flow, and you're also, as importantly, increasing your capacity, right? Because if you're saying right now, my system, whether that's just you, like, behind a keyboard, or you have all these automations, it doesn't matter. My system can handle 5 people, and all of a sudden my system can handle 10 people, or my system can handle 500 people, and now my system can handle 750 people. Like, that's a huge jump in income for you without actually increasing the amount of time that you're working.
Right.
Right? Like, that's the name of the game. Like, how do we get you to do more of the fun stuff, which is the value added stuff? Like, let's face it, right? Like, I love working with my clients face to face, and I am like, I know a lot about marketing, but I do not like going through my stuff is fun for me because like I do have a ton of content, but deciding what's going out there, like packaging it for going out there is not like, I'm not that girl.
It's funny. Like, I love to market other people's stuff, but I am the same when it comes to my own. I like creating all the shiny objects, the things. Like, I have my initial checklist over here that I'm sending out, and then the presentation that I'm going to turn into a master class for you. Oh, excuse me. Residual cough from last week's. Anyway, I love putting it all together. I love building the system. I love putting all the emails together. I absolutely cannot stand for myself to like put it into something that's ongoing. Like, I love to do the initial build up, the initial marketing, because that's fun. And then it's like, oh yeah, it's here. I should probably talk about that more. I've got this thing that I built. Like, it's crazy, right?
Yes.
But for other people, all the time, this is so much fun. But for me, it's like, I did it once. That's cool, right?
Yeah. And I love like, for me, I love novelty. Like, I go towards novelty like a fly to a lamp. I just do. And so
That's why we get along. That's why we get along.
exactly. And so for my clients, when they bring me new problems or they bring me new stuff, I'm like, yes, let's do it right now. Do you want me to build you an Excel machine? I can do that.
Yeah. Totally. Well, I just again saw the time. We are at time. Thank you for coming. This is fun. This is so much fun. For anyone, like, any final words about like UnStuck-ify or how you work with people that you want to make sure that everyone who's watching knows?
Yeah. So first of all, come to UnStuck-ify. If you have a business, there is an expert that is going to be on the UnStuck-ify show that can help you move up to that next level or help you get unstuck from where you are, right? Because it doesn't matter who we are as people, as business owners, as parents, like, there's always something we feel like we could do better on. And there's going to be an expert for you. So sign up. You can come for the whole day, come for just the session you want to go to. You're still going to get all the free stuff, all the free gifts, all the amazingness, juicy deliciousness. And like, just remember, like, your time is precious. Like, at the end of the day, we can always make more money. Like, money's just energy that exchanges, but you can't make more time. And so, like, that's what I do, is I help you make more time, because we only get so many minutes in our life. We might as well enjoy the way we spend them.
Right. Yes. Oh, so much. I love this. Okay. Again, the link to UnStuck-ify is in the description of this stream here. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to Tara. I popped her website in here. She is super quick on email. And if you need anything, as always, let me know and I can introduce you as well if you'd like it. So thank you again for coming, Tara. I am so excited for next week, and I will see you there.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me.